Welcome back, guys. And why in the morning is never why in the morning without the actual final and powerful segment that is WCW segment. So, karibu sana if you just joined in, because we are beginning, or rather we are going to go deeper into a conversation that is very sensitive, and it's very important that we talk about this, because currently it impacts relationship in a bigger way. So we are talking about childhood impact on adult relationships, on romantic relationships. Sorry about that, guys. So, and we are asking, Jay, childhood in affect our relationships, aje, adulthood relationships, aje. And today we have experts. We always here to talk and talk and talk, but today we're gonna hear from the best. Okay, so make sure you have that notebook. I have mine. So in studio today we have Dr. Samuel Omondi Ojino. He is a pastor. Nakwambia today natoka hapa nikiwa na anointing ingine. Yeah, so we have a pastor who is also a medical doctor, and we have a beautiful lady who is a psychologist. Her name is Mary Annie Wambui Njoroge. So before we dive into the conversation, they can tell us more about themselves. I'll start with you. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. My name is Marianne Wambui Njoroge. I am a psychologist by profession. I'm newly married, so that puts me in the nick of this. And I'm really happy to be with you guys. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I like that you highlighted that you are. Karibu sana daktari.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for having me. My government names are Samuel Omondi Ojino. Small correction, I am not a medical doctor, I am a pharmacist.
Oh, there's a difference.
There's a difference.
Okay.
Yeah, a pharmacist has a bachelor's degree in pharmacy. A medical doctor has a bachelor's degree in medicine and surgery.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm a pharmacist by profession, but I am a pastor by calling.
By calling.
So I'm well known as Pastor Doc on the streets because of both offices. I am married to one female wife. The last time I checked.
The last time you checked?
Yeah, she was female. Yeah, and we've been married for 10 years. 2nd of January of 2026, we'll be celebrating 10 years. I am a relationship, marriage, and family advisor of around 8 years. But I've also worked with singles for around 14 years. So I come here in that capacity. And I'm excited because of the topic for today. Yes. Yeah.
Damn. I told you guys, when we are hearing from the best, we are hearing from the best. And people who have experience.
Yeah.
I'm glad you say both of you, you're already in marriage.
Yeah.
I think that we now as Gen Zs fear.
Yeah.
We fear marriage. What do you think about that? Before we actually get deeper to our conversation, why do you think Gen Zs, we are actually finding it hard to say we can be in marriage? Uko kwa kina ndoa, tumewaachia huko.
Kwa kina ndoa. I think one of the challenges we have had in this generation today is people relying on the experience of others as truth. Let me explain that. So there is truth, and then there is what somebody's experience is. You see, if I had, for example, a difficult childhood, I had my own experiences. And another child who is probably, another person who is probably my age, went through a completely different childhood. Both of us were children, but we had totally different experiences. So what would happen sometimes when we are in a conversation, we tend to project our experiences as truth. And what has happened in the social media age is that people have come out to share their experiences, what happened when they were kwa kina ndoa. And they try to project their experience as the truth of life. And so what has happened, a lot of young people listen to the stories of others and think that is exactly what's going to happen to them. Just because somebody went through something that's very difficult or completely dysfunctional does not mean that it will happen to you. We have to separate truth from experience. And if I'm having a bad experience in life, I should seek out what's the truth. The truth here is the ideal situation of how that thing should be, like marriage, for example. So we should not be looking at what people are saying on social media,
and having
and because they are
mentality.
influential and they have a biased mentality, they will tell you men are this, they will tell you women are like this, they will tell you so many things, but they are speaking from their experience. If we are to learn from the experience of other people, it should be that experience has been balanced with what is the truth about the subject. We can't rely on the experience of other people as lessons, because some of their experiences are because of their own weaknesses or acts of omission or commission.
And it
So
doesn't apply to all.
and you can't blame an institution, you need to blame individuals.
That is so powerful. Mary, what do you think?
I actually agree with Daktari, because we're in a generation where social media is extremely important to young people. In the same breath, we have information spreading like wildfire.
True.
And naturally, as human beings, unless we train ourselves otherwise, we're going to focus on the negatives. So we have a social media trend of more negativity than the positivity. We have more probability of looking at the failed marriages. And that's what we take as our source of information. So a lot of us youths are fearing what we don't know. We are fearing from another person's perspective. So I would say the challenge right now is we want to see ourselves through the eyes of the people that we consider important in the society through social media. So that's why it's something that we fear a lot, and that's why there's something like kwa kina ndoa trending, because people find it funny that there's kwa kina ndoa na kwa kina sisi. So already that tells you that we've separated ourselves from what marriage could be and what it should be, and we've put ourselves on the side of what it is right now through the eyes of others.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Actually, there's a lot of truth to what you've said. In social media, haribu maneno hii, guys. Okay, now to our topic. I think it relates with that, actually.
Yeah.
How do you think childhood, what's the intensity that our childhood experiences could actually shape our relationships, or how we come to interact with people in future, especially on romantic relationships? Let me start with you, Daktari.
All right, thanks. I am passionate about relationships in all their stages. It's very important for us to know that, truly speaking, childhood experiences determine adult outcomes or adult behaviors.
Yes, we've come to agree.
I am not a psychologist, but I'm widely read. And for the purposes of the conversations I normally have, I have split the development of human beings into two. Maybe she will break it down further.
She'll break it down for us.
Formative years and normative years. Formative years are when all the influences possible that would determine who you'd become in the future are active. And if you look at that, it's normally between the age of 0 to around 17, 18 years. It means between those years, you're very malleable, you are influenced by your teachers, your friends, your parents, your siblings, and so on. But by the time you reach a certain age, the culture around you and the people that surrounded you when you were growing up have contributed to who you are going to become in the future. The challenge is this: when we begin to talk about romantic relationships, it is relationship between people who are over the age of 18, really speaking, because you're talking about adult relationships. By the time you are getting into adult relationships, you're already getting there when you're fully formed And so what normally happens is there are certain things that would have happened in your life or could have happened in your life when you are a child that have contributed to how you view life. Those things are going to influence how you interact with other people. I've always said that when children are growing up in their formative years, they normally have certain emotional needs. The first one is affection. The second one is attention. The third one is acceptance. And the last one is affirmation. They are called the 4 A's. Between 0 and 18, children will need those things at different stages in their life and their emotional needs. And it doesn't matter where this child grows up, whether it's Japan or Australia or Bolivia or Nicaragua,
it is the same
because we are
also.
all human. Children that grow up having those needs met by the people that are bringing them up are going to approach adult relationships differently from children who grew up without those. There are children who grow up having to defend themselves, having to fight for themselves, having to go through abuse, having to, raise their voice for them to be heard. When this child becomes an adult, you can just imagine the kind of person they are going to be. I normally say there are certain things that determine how somebody will become. One is nature, the second one is nurture, the third one is culture, and if you are a Christian, the fourth one is scripture. So nature is, anatomical and physiological identity. I was born as a male or as a female. Then nurture are the people around you, the people who bring you up, who shape who you will become. Yes, then culture is now the experience outside of the nurturers, outside of the home. And then now scripture is now when you have supernatural experiences, but we are not going to talk about that today. Okay. So you see, by the time somebody becomes an adult, they are fully formed because of nature, nurture, and culture. Now, if they missed those 4 things I talked about when they were growing up, you will find that this is a lady, she's very beautiful, but she cannot be able to trust anybody that tells them that I love you. Because the last time somebody told her I love you, it ended up badly. It ended up in rape, it ended up in abuse, or maybe she was told that you are not lovable. You even who will love you. She was abused emotionally when they are growing up. So when this person becomes an adult, you find that they have become completely defensive. They have their own ways, or they have put up their own measures of surviving because they missed the 4 A's that I am talking about. Okay. Those are normally called, there are things we call adverse childhood experiences. There are things that happen to children that should not happen to them. But when they happen, they affect how they are going to become in the future. So you find if a daughter grew up without a dad, I've said this many times, if daddy was not present when you are young, Zazi will be present when you are older.
Hold that thought. Interesting. Now, Mary, tell us, you have broken it down quite well, but Mary, because you also deal with people, you've had stories, interact, and what are some of the common stories that you've heard from people that actually shape, or rather they come to a realization of, wow, this came from my childhood experience? What are some of those stories? I've heard stories of people who were raised by strict parents. How is that like? How do they break it down to you?
Let me tackle that in the angle of attachment styles. Because attachment styles are a loud indicator of where you've come from and what you're doing about it. Because Daktari has told us about the formative years. They are very important because as we grow up, we're like a magnet. So you're picking information. So what you do with that information mainly reflects when you're an adult. The frontal lobe is responsible for your decision making, and that only develops from the age of about 25 fully. And that's for the females. And for the males, about 30. So for us to be in relationships even before that, it really tells a lot about the risks that we're taking.
Exactly.
Yeah, so when it comes to attachment styles, there's majorly secure and insecure. And for the secure, most of them have grown up in maybe, let's say, two-parent household. You're stable, you don't have a lot of adversity happening to you as you grow up. And then with the insecure, there's a lot that happened.
Okay.
There could be abandonment. And maybe one thing that I could add to what Dr. has told us is that even orphanhood can cause this, can cause this insecure attachment.
Interesting. Now, let me just cut you short a little bit. We are going to be back to tackle that point on attachment styles and all that builds from childhood. Right now, I just want to take the audience to the Rema Festival. We are just going to introduce them on how it is live core ground. Okay, so we'll be back to tackle that. So okay. So as you were saying, sorry about that. So you were talking about the attachment styles.
Yes.
And you've talked about secure and insecure.
Yes.
Depending on how you were raised and how that actually came about.
Yes.
Maybe just continue.
So with the insecure, we also have avoidant and fearful avoidant.
Okay.
All these things just go to relate to how you are brought up. Dr. has told us if daddy was not there, daddy
is gonna take over.
So we have people who maybe were brought up in a way that it was extremely strict. There's no conversation, there's no discussion around decision making. There's no explanation as to why you're doing anything. Those people can end up in avoidant attachment because then you do not know how to have a conversation about anything.
Yes.
You just realize that now we're in a situation we have to grow up and I'm going to do this on my own. So in a romantic relationship, then you find yourself in a disagreement and you shut down. There's also something that we call stonewalling. So those people put a wall, almost literally, so that you don't have to have a discussion with them. That manifests right from childhood. Then there's the fearful ones. They're so scared even of criticism. So even when you want to discuss maybe a wrongdoing in a relationship or a weakness, it doesn't apply for them. It's going to be, I need a shell to be in because I'm not sure if I'm being criticized by my mom or my dad, or is this actually my girlfriend or my boyfriend? So there's a lot of that reflects in our adulthood that now as the youth, we actually need to be more awake to that fact.
Today we are on day 3. Day 2 was such an impactful day. We had Lady Bishop Kathy Kiuna, Felix Funke from Nigeria. Quite amazing speaker. Of course, we also had many for the second. Rema Fest is just where people gather to hear the word of God and to be blessed with what God has in store for us. Rema Fest was begun by Reverend Julian Kula of Rock Assemblies, a powerful man of God that we honor here in the land. And here in day 3, as you can see right behind me, the session has begun with Lady Bishop Kiuna, a powerful woman of God here in Kenya, lead pastor of JCC Parklands and JCC across the country. I just want to invite Pastor Maureen to speak to us and tell us more what Rema Fest is. And day 3 we are here, still day 4 and day 5, and also to clarify that Rema Fest is free. No one should charge you. In case you get charged, just know that one is trying to steal from you. So Pastor Maureen, kindly join us here. We are live on KBC Channel 1, so you can just tell us your name and where you serve and in what capacity.
Hey, Maureen Washira. I'm a pastor with the Rock Assemblies attached to Rock Tabernacle. I serve under Reverend Julian Kula, and also we are here because we are the home of Rema Fest. Yes.
This is such a powerful gathering, bringing people together. Yes, the Gen Z going home, singing, eating together alone. They decided to do another crusade in the CBD. Rema Fest. Who is watching us for the first?
So the word Rema basically means word. 15 years Reverend Julian has been doing this. Would you imagine, Miriam? 15. just inside the church meeting. Of course, we once met at Lyco Regency, we met at Kempinski, and then now from 20 when now Rema Feast blew up, and we had the first major Rema Feast at Kasarani in 2022. And so Rema basically is a intense prayer, intense word and worship. If you've noticed, we don't have announcements, do any other things. It's just back-to-back word, worship and prayer. And because we believe in the Rema of God becoming active in our lives. And so it's a place to come everybody. Rock Assemblies may be the home of Rema Feast, but would you believe, Miriam, we have over 60 are partnering with us in co-workers. So all the imagine it's 60 churches, over 60 churches. We have pastors from everywhere. That is why even the moderators you're seeing, they're from, the ministers are from different churches for us to bring the body of Christ. Yes.
Amazing, amazing. And for someone who's watching, like to, could they come to 25? And you're already in day 3.
We still have 2 more days to Thursday and Friday. But why would I encourage you to come? Not able to come far. I think our station from where you're viewing from, but the reason why I would want you to come, I need you to come and feel on the ground. I think God is doing when the ecclesia, the church, the body of Christ comes together, and because also significant miracle in this country, because this is where crusades were being held. So we are back here and hearing the word of God and in unity. Yes.
Day 3 has just begun. Yes. So many who have day 4 and day 5. I hear it's going till Saturday morning, early hour. So what should people expect?
Oh, a lot of prayer, word. Today we are having the Gen Zs. So please, Apostle Tim Wangi will be here. Bishop Funke, Miriam said, Bishop Kathy is here. Please expect dancing, celebration, victory, and transformation for Kenya.
It's Gen Z Day.
Today is Gen Z Day, the Youth Day. Yeah.
Are you performing?
Yeah, Moji Shot Papa will be Guera is power.
Yes, so a book. We have also Pastor T ministering and praying for the young.
Yes,
Rev will speak, will be minister.
Also minister. Of course, our father, Bishop J.B. Masida, is also. Let me tell you, we can't exhaust the list.
Yes. Expectant. That is the word. Expectant. So I'm sending you back to the studio, but make your way to Huru Park entrance, and you shall be blessed. Yeah, that is Lady Bishop Kathy Kiuna speaking. Thank you so much.
Yes, so guys, welcome back again. That's pretty much on Rema Feast. Yeah, you don't want to miss it, okay? So continuing to our conversation on impact of childhood experiences to romantic relationship, we were just talking about attachment styles, and we were talking about secure and insecure parts. And right now I want to invite Daktari from the spiritual view. How can you tell, or rather, these experiences, how do they shape our spiritual life in relationships? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's, like I said earlier, that there are certain things that determine who we become in our adult years. I've talked about nature, I've talked about nurture, and I've talked about culture. If a child is born in a Muslim family, there is a very big likelihood that they will become a Muslim. If a child is born in a Catholic family, in a Pentecostal family, in an atheist family, there's a likelihood that that nurturing influence will determine who they become in future, including their religious beliefs. And one of the things that has now happened is that the kind of generation that we have today is a generation that has begun to question the religious beliefs or the faith positions of the people that are raising them up. Here could be parents, or guardians. And what the generation is looking for right now is authenticity. Like, how do the things you believe in, how do you live the things that you believe in? Because previously, especially for us millennials, we just used to be told what to do regardless of whether the parents are doing that or not. So what happens now is that, especially for the Gen Zs, you find that they begin to, and many of them so begin to look at relationships from a more authentic position than a spiritual position. Like, let me give you an example. You would grow up and you would be told it's a good practice across the world that if you're not married, you're not supposed to be having sex, for example. But now if you go to the streets, many people will be very shocked that actually you are shocked that they are having sex and they are not married. It's become part of, I mean, I was even having a conversation with some of the young people and they were saying, if that God does not want us to have sex until we are married, then why do we become sexually mature at 13 or 14 or 15? It just means the maturity is a signal to we are supposed to start. So I think that spiritual experiences, when a child is growing up, have a very high likelihood of determining the decisions they are going to take in the future, even if they deviate from what they were taught, but they're not going to deviate from it much. But we have a problem. If they were taught to do and not do, and the persons that taught them those to-dos and not do's were not doing those things or not doing those things, they are not going to believe what you are telling them. So they begin to look for alternative truth or for alternative perspectives. I personally believe that parents should try as much as possible to influence their children in such a way that what they are saying is also what they are doing. Because from a spiritual perspective, even if you look at the Bible, there were very many children that were brought up in the correct religious and spiritual way, and they turned out to be very well. It has actually been shown in statistics that people who have grown up in a religious setup, regardless of even whether it is Christian or not, they are most likely to end up better mentally and decision-making wise compared to people who are looking for other alternative truths or other perspectives out there. So I believe that somebody's spiritual life in their childhood really determines how they are going to, to interact in their adult relationships. And I'm so happy right now, even in our country, we have had a great Gen Z conversation, because in fact I liked what one of the speakers said here, that if she said something, if it is for us, it has to include us.
It has to include
like
us.
you
We
can't
have to be
plan,
part of
you
that
can't
of
plan
it.
for us and we are not included. I think one of the things that is happening right now, even for churches, they are beginning to be Gen Z facing and Gen Alpha facing. Come, let's talk. Come, let's talk about your spiritual experiences and so on. And I'm telling you, even right now that we are having, some sort of spiritual awakening in the country, you find that young people are beginning to get the truth of how they could live their life in such a way that they will make better decisions and have better outcomes. So I personally believe that young people should be exposed to spiritual environments because it has a likelihood of making them better when it comes to making relationship decisions.
Sure.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree that. But I want to throw in a very controversial topic.
Yes.
Maybe when it comes to building a healthy adult relationship.
Yeah.
What weighs more? Is it the self-awareness and therapy part, or is it the faith and forgiveness part, where you just how can I deal with my childhood experiences that were not that did not mold me to be a better person? Should I just go to the spiritual and be like forgiving, or it's more on therapy and self-awareness?
Okay.
What do you think, Mary?
They are both important. I would not want to actually split them, because in a relationship, sometimes you realize that there's a lot of control issues. So faith allows you to let go and let God, as a lot of us youths are saying it nowadays. So you're able to identify the problem. For instance, you have an insecure attachment. How do you deal with it? You can get the tools in therapy. In the scriptures, like Pastor Doc has told us, you're able to empower yourself. There's scriptures that tell you about be anxious for nothing. So those are things that you can actually collect. As an individual, you have the choice and the free will to actually pick out all these things so that they can empower you to have a better relationship with yourself and with other people. What I usually tell young people is become before you seek. So you're looking for a good partner. Are you a good partner? And that's where the self-awareness really comes in, because you have to build yourself into a person who you would want to date.
Exactly.
If it was you on the other side, would you love that person? Would you be able to cope with them? So I usually say therapy and the scriptures or spirituality, they can mesh very well if we can only learn how to actually put in the work, because therapy is work. Therapy is not easy. It's not an easy way out at all, but there's also a very good part of spirituality that allows you to even have a better grounding. So you get a better understanding of, why am I doing this? Am I called to the marriage of ministry? Because in our generation now we have people who are saying, I am not called to the marriage of, to the ministry of marriage. Sorry, to the ministry of marriage. So there's a lot of that conversation going on, and we need to actually understand now why. Why is that? Because we can't just be saying men are bad, women are bad. It's now a competition. But once you get down to the business of understanding the why, how did I get here? Is it my upbringing? Did I go through something? Pastor Doc mentioned about maybe abuse, sexual abuse. Did that contribute? Do I see men and see a trauma? It's very important to get down to that business. But spirituality also has an even more important part, because it's not everyone who needs therapy. Therapy, you don't go because you necessarily have a problem. Even people from secure homes, they go to therapy. But those people also need the spiritual grounding. So it's very important to mesh the two. Yeah.
Okay. So I understand there are two parts in this. There is where your childhood experience is, as in what you gained from your family, from nature, nurture, and culture, what you talked about. And also that part of, actually, let's talk about nurture now, to more on what we observe, how we observe the family, how we observe the mom treating the dad treating the mom, that dynamic between them. Now it's not the attention on me as a child, now it's how their relationship is. Daktari, what do you think about that? I like calling you Daktari, Pastor, it's nice. What do you think about that? Because we see a lot in these marriages. We are just more like, hey, mami na dadi wako hapa tu kwa sababu ya sisi watoto. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think maybe even before I answer that, I'll just like to add something to what she has said.
Okay.
I think we have a generation of people who are very clear about who they want to be their partner in life. But the question they have not asked themselves is whether they deserve that kind of partner. I keep telling people that you need to ask yourself whether the person you are praying for or hoping for deserves somebody like you. And the message here really is, instead of listing down the things that you need from a person, you should list down the things that you should become. What she was talking about, that before you seek, you have to become. you have to become somebody that another person would wish for. So you find that many of us are broken and are dysfunctional, maybe because of our own choices or because of the choices of others, but we want this ideal person to come into our lives in our current state. And we think they are going to be the healer, they are going to be the therapist. I mean, your marriage partner is not your therapist. Your spouse is not your therapist. And what happens when you get into marriage with those dysfunctions, you are unhealed, what happens is that you convert your partner to become your therapist and you lose a spouse. So you begin to you try and get healing from them and so on. So you have to completely heal, and you have to become the kind of person that another person would say, if I was to ask for a spouse, I would want this particular person. That is number one. Number two, I don't...
Maybe on that, just a follow-up.
All right.
So according to you, in other words, is like you have to be completely, fully healed. Just focus on yourself, heal first, so that you be in a relationship.
And yes, and you see, healing also is a journey. Yeah, it's a journey. It's not something that happens instantly. And that is why even she was talking about the importance of both science and spirituality. I mean, the two are not mutually exclusive. As a pastor, I would tell you that all knowledge comes from God, whether it's philosophy, whether it is science. If you discover something today, you may have discovered something that has been there for a long time. So a new discovery, whether it is science or statistics, really just stems out of spirituality, because God is the source of all knowledge. So I don't think that we should separate. I normally say that God can heal both by miracles or medicine, because I am a pharmacist. Some people think that because God is there, I should not go to the hospital. But when you go to the hospital, the knowledge that is being used there has come from God. Even for therapy, because psychology is a science, the solutions that come from there are not exempt of God, because that kind of revelation has come from God. Now, to go back to what you are saying,
that's part of it's just about the partners, our parents, and not about us.
Yes, I think we should know we are not responsible for who our parents are or were. That's very important. Whether they stayed together because of us or for whatever reason, that is not up to us. You need to reach a place in your life where you know or you accept that your life has been as it is. You know what I mean? There are people who grow up in very dysfunctional homes. You know, the parents are abusive, the parents don't sleep in the same room. You know, even the children have to fight to defend themselves and so on. There is nothing much that you can do really at that particular stage in your life, because that is where you have found yourself. But you need, and that's why I said that you need to come to the place of knowing the truth, because sometimes our experiences really are not the ideal of life. Like, you didn't have the best childhood, for example. So you need to encounter a truth, or to know a truth that dispels your experiences when you are growing up in a very dysfunctional space. So if you are to remove, there you are saying, if you are to remove yourself and just look at our parents, family is a picture. Our parents are a picture. They're supposed to be a picture of how life is supposed to be. But sometimes it's a bad picture. And what it does to us, it makes us just conclude that this thing is not going to work. Marriage is not for me. I saw my parents pretending. My dad was...
Because you can have a good dad who is good to the child, but not good to...
a good father and a bad husband. You know what I mean?
Those are two different things.
And I have met people also who say that they have never seen their parents fighting or disagreeing. And sometimes I tell them, it's not because they were good, it's because they were protecting you from it. So they never...
I prefer they protect.
So they never argued before you. They never fought at home. You may not be able to tell. As I think my sister here will tell you that sometimes when people come for therapy or for counseling, you'll be sometimes it's very surprising that how they look, and what they are telling you they are going through does not really marry. So I think for the young people, we should know that in as much as we may grow up in a place where our parents are not the perfect picture and it may discourage us from getting married and so on, we should go out there and see other pictures. Because there are other pictures, there are other people who have lived well and who have portrayed a good picture of marriage and family, and it shows that it's a possibility. Your experience is not necessarily truth. I think that is my biggest, I want it to be the biggest take home today. Your personal experience is not the absolute truth. So you should look for knowledge and information so that you know, in as much as I have gone through this and I was in this kind of family that had this kind of parents, I don't have to make decisions based on that experience. I could make life decisions or relationship decisions devoid of the experiences I had when I was growing up, and end up yeah, you know, just doing well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Now I'm told that time kidogo it has and I'm like, yo, the conversation was just getting interesting.
Yeah.
Now let me just sample comments. Just few comments. We have Rama John anasema, especially those raised by single parents or no parents, they have a really rough time. So there is that part. And also we have Moses, who I think kind of concurs with you. He says people should take charge of their lives and leave this bottom of the barrel behavior of opportuning and blaming to circumstances beyond their control. Yeah, so I think that's that. Maybe we can just get a parting shot from each one of you. I'm going to give you 30 seconds each. Yes, let's start with you, Mary. A parting shot, what you think about the whole topic. We should have another episode to tackle this deeper.
Oh yeah.
Yes, so just give us a parting shot and your handles.
Okay, what I'd say is your experience is not the fact of what is on the table. We can always move beyond what we saw as children with our parents. So this effect is there, but it's not the end of the world for that effect to be there. And I would say within anyone's reach, seek help from community, trusted friends, senior people. Pastor Doc is here. Yes. He's been a gem. He's been a gem to us. So it's therapy is now becoming more affordable, but there's still people who can't reach it. So I would say church is a good place. If you're in a healthy church, ours is quite good. We're in the Rock Assemblies, Papa Center. I'm particularly at Rock South. So I am found there. I work with the trendsetters. So yeah, we do that and we help people move with stride, because as long as you're not where you were yesterday, you're in a better place.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to be perfect to get married or to find a partner, but do the best work possible that you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is what I would say to motivate the youth of today in terms of relationships.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yes, your parting shot.
My parting shot is all the youth need to know that they are the only pilot in their life. And the day you wake up and decide that you will take responsibility for where your life is going, regardless of where you have come from, you are going to be on a path to great success. There is something that we normally call cognitive translucence. What that is people always think that everything bad that is happening in their life is as a result of another person or another entity, and we don't take responsibility. I would urge the young people to take responsibility, take charge of your life, stop complaining, stop blaming your parents. You know, there are people who keep saying that I grew up, they normally say that they came from a humble background, but there's an age when you reach, you become the background. There is no humble background anymore. Take charge of your life and seek for truth. She has talked about community and church, and you're going to have a great time. I have an organization that's called Singles and the City, and it's a monthly event. That Singles and the City, we meet and talk about how young people can be able to prepare better for relationships. You can check that out on social media. My socials are Pastor Doc on Instagram, Pastor Doc on TikTok, Pastor Doc on Facebook, and also we have a YouTube channel that's called Pastor Doc. We have amazing conversations over there, and people can reach out if you need counseling, if you need therapy, if you need prayer, if you need mentors to walk with you, if you need models. Let me tell you, you will make better decisions.
You know, one thing I've learned today, I feel you are. I feel like the millennials are actually playing a bigger role for Gen Zs. You want us to be better, and that's so good.
Yeah, because you're our younger siblings.
Yeah, true. So, guys, that is that. Where your story began does not mean that is where it ends. Okay. Yeah. So it has been an interesting conversation. I'm so grateful for your insights. And guys, before we sum it up, let me remind you. Be there at Rema Festival at Uhuru Park. Entry is free. Enda ukwe inspired. Enda usome, enda you interact, and you network and all that. And most importantly, go and seek God. He's there, okay? So it has been interesting. Why in the morning? Make sure you tune in next Wednesday for the same and more inspiring conversations. I have been your host, Anna Official Kadogo Katamu. Till next time, it's a wrap, but stay tuned to Y254 for the rest of the viewing, okay? Goodbye.